Alright guys, g'day, welcome back. We are running burst mode today. It's the first time I've done burst mode on my channel. And the reason I'm featuring it today, I wouldn't mind featuring it in future, but I'll see how I go. A big reason is I wanted to talk about burst mode and its potential for on just overall success in Dokkan and how I'd love to see. I just see a lot of potential in burst mode. But straight off the bat, this is a run where I get 6,000 points to clear every mission. As you can probably tell, one of the parameters that I've selected is STR and physical units, all from the Legendary Existence team. The STR God Goku has not yet Easy Aid. I simply just haven't had time to grind the medals. And yeah, to go through the rest of the team, we're running obviously the brand new physical Dokkan Fest God Goku as leader and friend. Namek Goku is automatically on the team. I love that unit, always have. Physical Bardock, really good support. I really like him. STR UI Goku, haven't used him in a while, but happy to sort of see him get a bit of play again. The physical UI Goku was kind of the last option. He will support the LR, but he will not link with the LR. His dodge will also be valuable as well. A couple of tips if you're struggling maybe to get all the missions complete. First things first, put as many parameters on as you can that don't include attack. Put them on last. Obviously, if you don't die, you don't die. So, put as many on defense as you can for the enemy. It doesn't really matter. And HP and things like that. They're going to wore you out, but eventually crits will take over and you will win. It might just be a slow burn. But, I mean, if they're hitting you for 6 in the first phase, you're never going to complete it. So attack parameters go on last would be my advice. And fortunately, with this specific event, you can actually stack up really hard. I mean, we've got no units here other than the Dokkan Fest God Goku who stack attack. But you can target Whis in this phase, and he will dodge absolutely everything. Unfortunately, you will have one unit sealed per turn. That's just one of the passive effects of this phase. And Whis will also seal on Super. But luckily we did have a little bit of attack parameters on, so that we could take a little bit of damage on those I guess weaker units in the physical UI and the STR God Goku, which means Namek Goku is going to transform as soon as possible and start stacking his defense very, very nicely. But yeah, if you've got an attack stacker that you can throw on, well, I guess the physical UI Goku stacks attack and defense. But yeah, if you're looking to stack, target the Whis like I've just done here, so I can. That's another thing I was going to do. I was trying to get the dodge for the STR UI Goku as much as possible early, so we could get his stats as high as possible. He doesn't stack through Super, but he does need, I think it's 7 dodges. I think he gets 5 key and 77% attack and defense. I can't remember specifically exactly what he gets. But his dodge does drop. Even though he gets his stats on dodge, his chance goes from 70 down to 50 after a certain amount of turns. So you kind of want to make use of that if you can. But to get into what I wanted to talk about, and it's slightly off topic in terms of the units that we're looking at on screen, I'll just let them do their thing, to be honest. But burst mode to me, I see burst mode as probably one of the most high potential modes or features that they've added to Dokkan in a very long time. We are currently in a period of Dokkan where the meta isn't changing, at least not by a substantial degree from year to year. From 6th to 7th anniversary, we know. Well, let's start at 5th. 5th anniversary, the hardest thing coming out really was Infinite Dragon Ball History. We already had Fighting Legend Goku, which you could argue was harder. Doesn't matter. But my point being that the new stuff that was coming out was still of the Infinite Dragon Ball History kind of realm. And then when the 6th anniversary came along, we got the God event, which was head and shoulders with daylight harder than what you got out of anything else in the game. So we saw a big shift there. Then from the 6th to the 7th anniversary, we got 200% leaders and red zone. And that was a bigger gap between the God event and it than what the God event was for Infinite Dragon Ball History, in my opinion. But when the 8th anniversary rolled around earlier this year on JP and is coming in July for Global, we got a Shenron event, But and then plus the units that we got in terms of new units, there wasn't a daylight gap. You didn't feel like you were jumping into a new meta. You know they're improved units. Like, don't get me wrong, the units that came out were far better than what we got last year. But I wouldn't even say far better. They were just better. But the point being is that the units that came out last year can still compete today, despite the fact that units are coming out that are slightly better. And the point is, we're not getting harder events. The events we've continuously gotten red zone updates. We got it in the Worldwide Celebration. We even got it during Infinite Dragon. The Super Dragon Ball Heroes crossover campaign. It's a shame they just didn't leave those stages up. But we also got Red Ribbon Army red zone. So that seems to be the standard that we're currently sitting at the moment, and it seems like they're pretty happy to kind of keep that standard going. I would like to see that standard continue forever. If that's your kind of base level difficult content, I think it's a pretty good level to be at, to be perfectly honest with you. Especially if, and this is why I wanted to talk about this, especially if burst mode is tinkered with. It's not exactly how I'd like to see it at the moment, the way burst mode is kind of laid out and the way it functions. But if you made certain adjustments to it, and I'll be honest, I don't know the best way to go about it. I don't know the best way to sort of change burst mode to make it perfect, but burst mode layered on top of like your red zone events, I think that is the best way to make difficult content accessible to everyone. Especially if you, I mean, this may not be popular amongst a lot of people, but especially if you kind of allowed players to kind of grind out all the rewards. And so I guess I'll use a general kind of example. I'll keep it quite simple. Let's just use 3 type of players, right? There might be your truth type of players who rainbow absolutely everything. So everything they have is at its max power. I'll put myself in the tier below where I don't rainbow everything. I don't even summon for everything. Like, I don't have Pan, I don't have Kid Goku, I don't have what was the other unit I don't have? Oh, the upcoming Yamcha I won't have. I'm not going to summon for him either. I'm going to skip. My point is, I can still comfortably beat everything in the game with my collection. Not everything's rainbowed. Looking at my God Goku there, he's only 69% with 1 path. My LRUI Goku there is 2 path at 79%. And then the tier below me, for example, might be someone who doesn't have everything either, but the majority of what they do have is at 55%. So if you use, let's ignore how complex the parameters are for burst mode right now. Let's pretend it was just a simple dial. Dial from 1 to 10, and it changed the difficulty accordingly. Someone like Truth might dial it up to 10 because he's got the units that can handle what you would imagine a 10 out of 10 increase in difficulty might be on something like Red Zone. I might dial it up to something like 7, you might dial it up to something like 3 if you've got things at 55%. If, let's say, if you dial it up to 10, you get 1,000 points. If you dial up to, let's just say it's 100 points per dial, right? Per thing. So I'd get 700 points, you'd get 300 points. Let's say the max amount of points needed to get all the rewards were 2,000. Truth would get it in 2 runs. I would get it in 3 runs. You would get it in 7 runs. That's what I'm kind of saying. Like, if they did it like that, and obviously you want it to be more complicated than that, I'd like to see it somehow tinkered in a way that, you know, they make it so certain events are shorter if you choose certain parameters, where the same event might be longer if you choose other parameters. I personally like long form content where my stackers can stack and I can see how high things can really get. I know a lot of other people like to see those turn 1 monsters just blitz everything and get it over and done with nice and fast. And I think personally I'd like to see everyone catered to in that way. I would even like to see, and this is maybe a pipe dream, but I'd like to see maybe a vintage mode. Maybe they put burst mode on something like the STR Broly Dokkan Fest event, and they only allow you to take units that released before a certain date. You know, everything's got an Easy A now, but let's just say they can remove the Easy A, and you can only take units prior to the 2nd anniversary. So the first unit disqualified would be the Dual Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, the TUR. So you can't take them, but everything before them you can take. You've got to build teams like that, and a lot of that meta was mono, unless you had STR Super Gogeta, which a lot of you know, you can get them with redstones now, so it's not like it's going to be inaccessible to free-to-play players. It's actually going to be very accessible if you played for, you know, 6 to 12 months, because you can pick up STR Gogeta with the redstone. I would like to see that kind of diversity come to Dokkan, and we've got enough diverse stages and events now where that's possible. But, you know, I don't know. Let me know what you reckon down below. This is a conversation I'd really like to have. I'd like to hear other people's perspectives. Maybe the vintage mode is not as ideal for a lot of players as I might think. A lot of nostalgia is talking there. I've been playing since well before the first anniversary, so I've kind of gone through every meta, with the exception of a little bit in between where I took about an 18-month break from the game. So I'd love to go back and kind of play with a mono team led by AGL Super Vegito, for example. Or even if they, you know, let's just say they did other events and they allowed everything after the second anniversary, and, you know, a mono team led by STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, for example. I'd love to play like that, but I mean, if it won't blow you away in terms of stats, you're not going to be pushing 7 mil, which I'm probably, what's this God Goku doing here? Oh, 5.2. You're not going to be seeing anything like that. I'm pretty sure we broke 1 million attack stat for the first time after the 120 liters dropped during the second anniversary. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time I ever saw 1 million. I'm pretty sure it's the only time I ever saw, or the first time, sorry, I ever saw 200k HP. I think that was like a lot of HP at the time. If you are a veteran Dokkan player from back then, let me know your nostalgia bait kind of experiences and the things that take you back, the things that players now just, I guess, really wouldn't understand or would maybe take for granted. I loved that era of Dokkan. But yeah, I think burst mode has the potential to do things like that. I'm not sure how it functions within the code, which is something that I've been kind of educating myself on recently with creating custom Easy A's, which I'm doing a series on my channel at the moment, doing custom units, which, without spoiling too much, I have 2 custom units, fully custom, never before seen in Dokkan, on the way, that are going to tie into the Dokkan trading cards as well, by the way. So keep on the lookout for that. One is probably about 70% finished. He functions in game, but I just want to do the visual stuff for now. But I digress. I'm kind of probably hanging too long on that. I love this. I'm just looking at Namek Goku there, just doing just a casual 7 mil while stacking his defense with the potential to guard, linking up. What would he have? He would have Super Saiyan, Shocking Speed, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle with God Goku. Because Namek Goku doesn't have Kamehameha, Over in a Flash, or Godly Power. So yeah, there'd be 3 links missing. So it'd be 4 links. That's very good though. They make a decent pairing. STR UI Goku here would be what? Godly Power, Fierce Battle, Over and Flash, and Prepared for Battle. So yeah, 4 links as well. That's just the beauty of that God Goku. He links so well with everyone. You're prepared for battle unit, he's got you covered. He's got your key link covered. Over in a Flash, he's got you covered too. But then he's also got Shocking Speed, and I've never seen a unit designed like that. Like, not a top tier unit, especially one with such a broad leader skill. Like, you could almost argue he's a support unit in the way that he links. So if you're floating around and let's say you were, a good example actually is if you had him leading the LR UI Goku rotation. So if let's say we had the AGL UI Goku, he had a partner with the STR1 on a rotation, so we're leaving them there. If you got your God Goku floating around, he'll give Shocking Speed to the AGL1, or if he's in slot 2, or if you put him in slot 1 and put the STR1 in slot 2, he'll give him Prepared Battle and Over and Flash. Like, it's amazing what he'll do. The key would just be out of this world. I love it. He's such a good designed unit. What do we go? I haven't been this deep into the Beerus event. He goes to sleep. I'm pretty sure the old Beerus event used to do that as well, the tech one. Speaking of vintage Dokkan. If we get that tech orb there. That was probably silly of me. I did pre-record this, by the way, so I could kind of ramble while it played in the background. That's alright, though. We're not going to get attacked, so it doesn't really matter about... I don't think does he raise defense before Easy A, that STO God Goku? I don't even know. I'd love to... Oh, didn't check Oh, I didn't check to see what Nemagoku's defense is at. He's done a couple of additionals in a few turns, so he's probably looking pretty healthy right now. What are you doing? Really kicking him hard. So yeah, this is, again, is he going to crit here? He is. This is, with all the damage reduction and HP increase that we've given Beerus for the parameters of burst mode, this is where crits on God Goku really kind of show why they're important. Without having any kind of offensive perks, he gets no crit in his passive. He doesn't get super effective against all types. He's at 460k there. Yeah, it's important for you to put a bit of crit on God Goku, in my opinion. Otherwise, he's just going to get walled out. I mean, he's going to increase his attack with every super that he does. But, I mean, you can be doing a 17 mil attack stat all you want. If it's subject to damage reduction and defense of the enemy, it's really not going to pierce through. Whereas crits ignore both those. So you can put those parameters on all you want. It's only the HP that will wall you out. See, that's where that crit's going to do it. All right, so he took probably what? I'm going to say a quarter to be generous there of Beerus's HP. And he did what, 5 or 6 million or something? This is a 7.6 if he doesn't crit. Okay, that's half. Okay. Maybe he's doing more than I think. Tried to make a point, I just got immediately disproven. So he did about half his HP there. If he crits now, well, there you go. He did double the damage with the crit, pretty much. I mean, and that's, I think the multiplier is 1.9, so that would make sense. And we're coming to the end as well, which, I mean, that crit didn't do much, but he's doing what, 1.7 mil? Yeah. Slightly calmed. We should be finishing this phase, or maybe we won't. Unless we crit with, double supers, I think we'll go into the next phase. And look at that, turn 16. And again, look, speaking of like modern releases feeling like they're of the same, like I guess a good example is that new Super 17 on JP. The Hellfighter and 17 portion of that unit doesn't fuse into Super 17 until turn 5 at the earliest, and then he still needs to receive something like 10 attacks for him to be fully built up. So, I mean, let's say you're taking an average of what, 3 attacks per turn. Let's be generous and say it's 4 attacks per turn. Turn 5, he gets his first 4 attacks. Turn 7, he gets his second 4. Turn 9, he gets the following 2. That's turn 9, you're fully built up. Most events, as they are these days, don't last that long. But here with burst mode, we've got to turn 17. So you might have a Super 17 that has just supered. I guess no. My point is, you get to see these units fleshed out. You get to see them at their best for a long time, and that's part of the game that I really enjoy. Just enjoying units at their best and getting several turns out of them while doing it. It's just, yeah, it's burst mode to me. I think is just a really good addition to the game. It's not perfect in its current form. But I see all the pieces that could come together to make a really perfect kind of a game that could last a very long time. Just, yeah. And I think this is a good level for units to be at as well. Like, they're not holding back in terms of giving units stacking anymore either, which is beneficial for things like burst mode. When fights don't last that long, the stacking's kind of just like, oh, that's nice. They've got a floor that continues to increase. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of how it is. Oh, we got a link. Lovely. I probably should have updated that live, but I didn't. So we'll quickly go out and I'll show you the parameters that I chose. I think there's maybe one attack parameter, which is why we kind of were so easily. We so easily went through without taking too much damage. But obviously those weaker units, the ones that don't have their links maxed, they're the God Goku and the UI Goku. They allowed us to take a little bit of damage to transform with Namek Goku, which is nice. I love the user interface of burst mode as well. That little pulsing background and everything, the red, it's really good. So 6,020 points, legendary existence, STR and physical, nullifies all the debuffing. Reduces damage from a type we can't take, which is nice. Attack by 110 and attack by 75. So 185% to attack only, which is pretty manageable. And that's every mission. If I should have collected them all at once. I don't know why I did that. It's every mission except for one, because there was a bonus mission to complete it with joined forces. But yeah, that's it, guys. If you like the video, please do so. If you want to see more, please hit subscribe. Helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.